Hello everyone, it's Dave from Dave's Recent Things. Today I'm creating this red and white Canada Day Patriotic yarn wreath. Why don't I just get started and I'll show you how I made it. The wreath frame that I'm using today is the 10-inch styrofoam wreath frame from the Dollar Tree. And I purchased this red and white yarn. Both of them come from Amazon, along with these maple leaf stickers that I got from the Dollar Tree. Of course, scissors and a glue gun you're going to need, and some felt squares that I got from the Dollarama. This is everything that I'm going to be using today to make our yarn wreath. I'm just starting off with my wreath frame, and I'm going to mark out the 12, 3, 6, and 9 o'clock positions, and then I'm going to mark right in the middle of those as well to break it up. Because what I'm going to be doing is a red and white, red and white, red and white theme all the way around with the yarn, and this is going to be my markers where I start and stop the colors. And here is the red yarn that I got from Amazon. And of course, I'm trying to find the end of it. I couldn't find the end of it. But the wonderful surprise about this yarn was that it had like a glitter to it. And I didn't realize it. I didn't see it when I ordered it. And when it came in, I was like, oh, this is awesome. I love it. So it added a little bit of sparkle to it. And the first thing that I'm going to do is add just a little line of hot glue right where I marked off my first section. And then I'm going to take the end of my yarn, kind of dabble it in there just to get the glue spread out a little bit, hold it down for a bit, let it dry, and then eventually I'm just going to cut that little tail off. And then the simple process, but long process of wrapping that yarn around. And really, all I do is I just kind of sit down. I put on my favorite movie on, my computer, my laptop, or I throw some of my favorite music on, like Kylie Minogue, Celine Dion, and I just kind of, take my time, wrap it around a couple of times. I hold it with my left hand while I wrap it around with my right. And it does seem a little time consuming, and I will admit it is, but the time does go by fast once you start doing something else in the background or listening or watching a movie or your favorite TV show on Netflix. But here I am, I'm just wrapping it around my first section. I come to my marker, and then I'm just going to do the same thing I did when I first started off, put the yarn in a little dab of glue. I'm going to use my handy dandy tool just to press that in there in the glue to make sure it's nice and secured. It's not going to go anywhere. And after just a short amount of time, I'm just going to chop off the excess. And I've got my first section of red all completed. And look how that's looking so far. I just love that sparkle in the yarn. I didn't even know yarn came with sparkle or glitter. I was just so happy with it. And now I'm just going to start with my white yarn here. And it was easy for me to find the end this time around. And again, it's the same thing. I'm just dabbing a little bit of glue down, putting the end of that yarn right in that glue, holding it there for a little bit, using that handy dandy tool one more time to get the yarn in there and to spread the glue around a little bit just to make sure it's not going to go anywhere. And I'm going to chop off the excess. And then we start that whole process all over again of wrapping, and wrapping that yarn all the way around. And again, it's the same process that I'm using. I'm wrapping it using my right hand, holding it with my left to make sure it's all in place. And eventually you get to the point where you're almost done, like I am here. I'm just wrapping everything around, doing my last few wraps. And of course, what I try to do is have a backside and a front side to the wreath. So where I do the marking on it, that's the backside. So that's where I glue everything. Now, it's usually pretty hidden, but there is some, times that you see a little bit of glue. So that's what I usually do is I just kind of make sure I have a front side and a back side and glue everything on the back side so you don't see those transitions so much. You can see when I flip it over here, you can see the transitions. So this is going to be my backside of the wreath. And I'm almost done just gluing it down and using that ever so handy dandy tool to push that yarn into the hot glue instead of using my fingers and burning them, which is never fun. But here you go. The base of my wreath is all complete using alternating red and white yarn. I just love how this turned out. And now I'm just going to move on. I'm going to make little flags using the felt. And I'm going to use the white yarn for the string portion of it. I'm just trying to figure out sizing of it. So I'm going to give a little estimate, and then I'm just going to chop two pieces of yarn the same size for my little flags that are going to go around. And of course, I'm going to use the felt that you see on the screen on the left-hand side as my little flags, and that's going to be the white string that we're going to use for it. Here I'm kind of deciding what size I want to use for the flags themselves. I didn't want them too big and I didn't want them too small. Of course, I want to be Goldilocks. I want them just right. So I'm just kind of estimating the size that I want for my flags. And I'm just kind of playing around really. So they're about maybe, 2 inches wide when it's fully flat, such that each flag is probably going to be an inch and an inch, somewhere around there. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. So here is the rectangle that I finally come up with size-wise, and I'm pretty happy with that. And I'm not being too exact. I'm just kind of, playing around with it, just simply because in the end, you'll see a little bit later on, I am eventually going to cut them anyways, but I wanted them roughly the same size. So I think I cut out about 4 or 5 pieces now, and then I'm just going to use those to kind of play around and start with my flag. So here you have the piece, the little rectangles, and they're about maybe 1 inch by 2.5 inches, something like that. And I'm going to take my glue gun and I'm going to shape the triangle outline with that glue. And then I'm going to fold it over, and then I'm going to press it down. And you're going to want to make sure to get the glue right in that corner area. I mean, here it's sticking to me like crazy as it flies around the screen. But you're going to want to get that glue right in the middle as well, so the flag doesn't move. Now I'm spacing them out and I'm realizing I think I need another one or two. So I just quickly cut up another couple of pieces of my flags and place them down like I do here. So one line of glue in the center, and then I create a little triangle. I lay that white yarn right down the middle, fold it over, press it down and hold it, making sure that white yarn is in the glue as well. And then I just repeat the process over and over again until I fill up the entire space that I want my flags. And here they are all done, all dry. And now I'm just going to take my scissors, and instead of square flags, I wanted the triangle flags. So now I'm just going to create little triangles out of them. And since we use the glue all over and outlined, you can kind of see it, so you can kind of cut outside the glue so that glue still sticks and makes a triangle. Like you see right here, I have got all of my flags all ready to go and hang on my wreath. I'm just going to do a second one. And once I'm all done, you can see them there on the right-hand side. And I'm going to use these wonderful red maple leaves that I got from the Dollar Tree. Now, these are stickers, but I'm just going to keep the backing on the stickers. I'm not going to actually use the sticky side. And I'm trying to go through the creative process here of, where do I want these flags? How many flags am I going to put on there? Am I going to use the small ones? Am I going to use the big ones? Am I going to put them on the white squares? Am I going to put them on the red squares? As you can see here, I'm kind of going through it all, and I'm realizing I don't really like it just on the red square. So I kind of moved them, and I know I'm going to use a cluster of them, and I'm going to cover up one of the red sections such that it kind of, the white background will bring out the red flags. You can kind of see here what I have kind of decided. This is what I'm going to do. So now that I've decided that, I can figure out where I'm going to put my flags, how I'm going to lay everything out, such that everything stands out. You don't want anything to hide all of our hard work that we've done so far to create these wonderful flags. You want them to be visible, you want them to be seen. So once I get my position all down, Again, I'm just going to use that glue gun and my handy dandy little tool. By the way, this little tool is a face mask applicator, and it is just at your local Dollar Tree and the makeup section, and it is the handiest tool ever. My friend Susie from Susie's Stuff, she was using it before me, and I have to give credit where credit is due. I asked her one day, I'm like, where did you get that? Because that is the hack of the century. So she told me where she got it, and ever since then, I bought one and I haven't looked back. It is the handiest tool. If you are a crafter, go for it. Get one, it'll save your fingers. Trust me. I use it all the time, like you can see in this video here. It is amazing. And this is me just trying to figure out where I'm going to place the flags. And once I figure it all out, I glue everything down, cut off any excess that I don't need, and there we go. My flags are attached, and I'm happy with how that looks. Now all I have to do is attach my little red maple leaves on there. And like I said, I wanted to cover up the red yarn such that the white yarn lets the red flags really pop. And you can see as soon as I put it all down, that does happen. And there you go. My red and white Canada Day Patriotic Wreath is all ready for July 1st. Here it is in all its glory. I just love how this came out. Again, that glitter in the red yarn was such a surprise, but I just love how it all turned out, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. Thank you so much for watching today. I appreciate you coming down to my channel and participating in watching my videos. Don't forget, subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I upload a new video. Thanks again for watching. Take care. Bye for now.